So the Jazz intend to keep Collin Sexton. So there's going to be a mix of Collin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Mike Conley footage in this, just intertwined. So Collin Sexton obviously in a Cavaliers uniform, unless I can find some footage of him in a Jazz uniform. But so basically, let's talk about it. Shout out Brian Windhorst for this information, and Tony Jones of The Athletic. So Jazz intend to keep Collin Sexton, but the Jazz are currently engaged in trade talks for the veterans still on the roster with, another video I recently made, Bojan Bogdanovic, interest coming from the Suns, but we'll just talk about it all right now. Hit the subscribe button for information on a daily basis, about 150 videos a month regarding every facet of the NBA. And look, the Utah Jazz have begun their rebuilding process with Danny Ainge oversighting it. They've traded Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell for draft picks and young players, but allegedly they are not done yet. Utah has been engaged in trade conversations for the remaining veterans on the roster. That includes Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, and Danny Ainge is also expecting to gauge the market for Rudy Gay, and Malik Beasley. Which I'm surprised Malik Beasley isn't getting the opportunity maybe to keep until trade deadline to see if they can further that value. But, I've also said, they could package Bojan, Malik, and I believe Mike Conley all into a deal for Russell Westbrook, I believe I've seen. But the Jazz are poising to give a lot of minutes to their young players so they can get themselves a good old top pick in the draft and set up their rebuild around youth and draft picks and long, lanky players. You got to think that they're going to try to build themselves to be the Boston Celtics with a lot more length and two-way players. That's what they like. Length, two-way players, defense, and three-point shooting. Now, Collin Sexton, however, was, I made a video saying it was the Miami Heat and the Utah Jazz actually interested in him. And I didn't actually necessarily think the Utah Jazz were fully there, but they gave him Bojan Bogdanovic money, which is $18 million a year, $36 million every 2 years, 4-year, $72 million deal. And he was actually going to take the qualifying offer to remain with Cleveland at one point, it seemed like. But now Jazz are going full rebuild mode. And Brian Windhorst said that last night he checked in, that Sexton is going to stay in Utah, and that's the plan. And Windhorst added that the negotiations between the Jazz and Sexton likely came together very quickly. And you guys know, in the 2020 to 2021 season, Sexton averaged 24.3 points, 3.1 rebounds, 4.4 assists in 60 games. Then in 11 games last season, he suffered a torn meniscus, and his numbers weren't pretty. But if you look at the Jazz roster, okay, take out the guys. Lauri Markkanen looks like he's going to stay. Maybe Lauri Markkanen could have a big old year. I could also see them moving him, but I think there's a certain amount of days they have to wait. I think it's 60 or 90 days till they can retrade him, which wouldn't be till October. So they'll probably go through training camp and feel. But Lauri's cooking overseas, playing for Finland, and I think they're going to give Lauri a shot. And Ochai, obviously. Ochai, and supposedly Udoka Azubuike, he's going to start at center with Walker Kessler backing up. A bunch of people have hit them up for Jared Vanderbilt, but they have said, and I've reported this earlier, that Jared Vanderbilt is staying. They're not trading Jared Vanderbilt. They like him just as much as I did when he was a part of my Minnesota Timberwolves. But yeah, I think you look at here, Talen Horton-Tucker, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is getting, this is probably going to be the last chance to earn a starting role somewhere. If not, he'll probably start to bounce around. Talen Horton-Tucker is going to get a full chance, a bunch of opportunity there. They're also looking at the move, Jordan Clarkson. I forgot to mention that. But I think the deal is Jordan Clarkson, Malik Beasley, and Bojan could go to the Lakers. They could also do it for Mike Conley. But Simone Fontecchio, I think he's a dark horse to win Rookie of the Year. But Talen Horton-Tucker, Rudy Gay, take out Rudy Gay. Talen Horton-Tucker, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jared Vanderbilt, Simone Fontecchio, Walker Kessler, Leandro Balmar. You know how much I like him. He's going to be a mix of a light version of Josh Giddey with a little bit of Tomas Stanorowski and some, maybe floor Michael Carter-Williams. I love him. Es mi hermano de Argentina. But they also have Stanley Johnson, Udoka, Jared Butler. That's 8 players, solid players right there. Most solid rotation. Johnny Juzang and Xavier Sneed on 2 ways. Not a bad team. I think that that rebuild team right there is a little bit a few years ahead of schedule than some of the other rebuild teams, in my opinion. Like, they would be like 1 or 2 picks, like a Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum away with that core for being a playoff team.